Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 27. I had to check it. 27 of the Smite Update. My name is Octane Pro. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, Risty. Risty, how's it going?
I've not been too bad. It's been pretty good, actually.
Oh,
Enjoying Mercury, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have your mic muted. I'm surprised. You were like
Ah,
dead
come
on.
on. Stop
only,
pulling me
only,
up on-
only how many episodes in, and you're finally getting to it now?
Well, I bet I'll do it next time. Don't worry
All
about
right.
it. Yeah, just
So,
for you.
those of you guys joining us, we appreciate you coming out tonight. Tonight is Monday, September 7th, about 8:30 p.m. Eastern. It's about 1:30 a.m. GMT, a little bit later for you EU people. Want to make sure a few announcements here and there, little housekeeping items, guys. Trying to promote our audio version, so make sure you guys do check it out. The audio version of the Smite Update is on iTunes, so make sure you go ahead and go over to iTunes and check it out. You can go ahead and search in iTunes under Smite Update. Go ahead and download it and leave us a 5-star review. Would definitely appreciate it. Would help us move up the ranks on iTunes. We're only one of about 3 other podcasts on iTunes on Smite, so make sure you check it out. It's Smite Update, Smite Talk, and then finally the Dead Workers party. So make sure you guys check out all 3 of those, but definitely check out the Smite Update. Outside of that, I guess I'll throw it over to you, Risty. We're going to be moving the time next week as a trial, so I'll throw that over to Risty to talk about.
Yeah, just kind of with like work situations that I've got, kind of the way I have to do it is I have to sleep when I get in from a Monday, get up, do the 1 a.m., then Tuesday I'm messed up, and then all just like that. But what we was thinking about doing it was moving it to 5 p.m. Eastern. So before Octane goes on the Smite games, gives us 2-hour window to do that in. It also opens it up a bit more for the EU people to actually watch then as well. And on the Sunday being everybody should be off work. Well, most people, so they should be able to actually be able to see it.
That's right, folks. So we'll be swapping up. We'll see how it goes next week. If everything goes well, then we'll definitely stick with it. Looking at Sundays, and that'll be at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern, which is 2 o'clock p.m. 2 o'clock p.m. West Coast time, which then it puts it about 11 o'clock? Is that what we figured out for you?
I think so, yeah, because you're at 8 now.
Yeah, well, it's like 6 hours ahead, give or take. So that's kind of where it goes at. So, guys, keep a lookout. It'll be on Reddit, and we'll definitely put some more details in the comments so you guys can go ahead and make sure you guys keep up to date if you follow the live show. If not, the VODs will be there, just the way they always have been. Other than that, Risty, what have you been up to within Smite? You've been recording anything lately?
I did. I've been streaming more now. I'm streaming like mostly every day that I can do. I didn't do it on Sunday or today, but I've been streaming, so my stream's up and running. My throttle connection doesn't get throttled, so it's working out quite well for there. I did recast during the actual tournament the NA side, just really to get to cast it, have it live on the Twitch, and for YouTube content. So I was putting that out. That's all out, all up ready.
Okay.
I'm working on my Mercury guide, which obviously we'll go over in a bit. So
Good.
working on that, so that'd be good. But yeah, a lot of work in that one. So yeah, we're all good.
I feel like I've been away from Smite for too long. I went down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for about 4 days. Left on Thursday night. Yeah, started Wednesday night. I went to my parents and drove 18 hours on Friday, all the way down the coast from Pennsylvania down to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and was down there from Friday until Sunday. Then flew back on Sunday, and I was trying to catch Siege and trying to catch some of the NA and the EU. And so I haven't really had a ton of time to play Smite. I wasn't able to make my Smite game time slot, so I had to have Katrixia fill in for me, and that was yesterday, guys. If you guys aren't familiar, I am streaming on Smite Game now from 7 p.m. till 10 p.m. Eastern, so make sure you check me out over there. And
Did you say you drove down there then flew back?
Yes, we drove down because we were okay. We drove down to Florida because we were bringing a car to my sister as like a gift, and so we drove it down. So my dad and I drove it down. It was 18 hours. We drove it straight completely. Him and I rotated, did the whole drive. We got down there, and I was so tempted to go to Siege because like Atlanta, we went right through Georgia. So we went through Pennsylvania, We went through Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia, and then Florida. And so I was tempted to go over to Atlanta. But the thing is, that people don't know it and realize, is like 95, which is the road you take south. Well, like all the way across the state is Atlanta. So it's not like they're close together. Like we would have been talking like an additional like 6-hour drive to get to Siege. Because people were giving me a hard time. They're like, you should go. But either way, I didn't end up going. Had a great time. Watched a lot of Siege. And
In that case, I should fly there as well.
pretty much. You might as well. So yeah, we flew back. It was a really good time. Good vacation. Good break from work and Smite and everything. But let's go ahead and jump into the show. Before we get into it, guys, I want to remind you guys to please go ahead and check out our sponsor, tweakedaudio.com. That is the brand of earbuds that Risty and myself are both using. Please go over to tweakedaudio.com and purchase some amazing noise-canceling earbuds and use the code OctanePro. And that'll get you 33% off the listed price and then free shipping anywhere in the world. So it starts out around $29 after you use the promo code OctanePro. They come in right around $16, and then you get free shipping anywhere. They're noise canceling. They are no tangle cords as well. They have 7 different styles, 6 different colors, so make sure you go check it out today. tweakedaudio.com. I'll go ahead and put it here in chat for you guys if you guys want to check it out. All right, well, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the patch notes, which we're going to go ahead, if you guys aren't familiar with the show, we go ahead and check out the patch notes a week later. And some people might go, oh, well, why do you do that? Blah, blah, blah. The point is because, Hi-Rez Bart does a great job of going over the upcoming patch notes on, like, Tuesdays for Wednesday. But then there's no discussion throughout the week, total discussion about it. So we wait a few days, and then we go ahead and talk about that patch. Talk about what we're seeing in the game, how some of these changes are being reflected after seeing it in tournaments, in games ourselves. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the patch note discussion from October 2nd of this past patch, and I'll throw it over to Risty.
Bit of a post-mortem view of it, really. So,
exactly.
Yeah. New god, Mercury, messenger of the gods, which, to be honest, to me, I don't know why they called him Mercury. It's Hermes. That's all I've ever known.
Now, it doesn't come down to like Roman and Greek, like depends. Or
yeah, they. I think I read somewhere that Romans invaded Greece, then took their mythology and stuff like that. So there's a bit of crisscross pattern there. I don't know 100%, so I'll leave that one there. But yeah, I literally put up my first video and went Mercury quote Hermes gameplay. Yeah. So I left that one there. But yeah, interesting. His passive, he's a melee physical assassin. So kind of think of him as I like a Loki, but without the stealth and more speed, to be honest. His passive is fastest god alive. For every 1 feet he traveled, every 1 foot traveled, Mercury gains 0.1% physical power bonus to his next basic attack, up to 50%. Now, this isn't actually very far. Like the 50% for how far it needs to go. Literally from getting from the well to the lane, you've already maxed it out. That's it. There's not that far to actually go. Probably about, 20 seconds walk and you're done. And that's that full out.
It's easy to max out, thankfully. It's pretty good.
Mercury also gains an additional physical power equal to 20% of the movement speed from his items. Now, I don't know if this is like percentage. Like if you got like a 20% item, it's 25%. It's like 5% of your physical power. I'm not 100% sure. It might just be like a set amount. Other than that, no. But pretty much the passive, completely negligible. You are never going to think about this passive ever.
I mean, the first time I played him, I was keeping an eye on the meter. But yeah, it's interesting because if you play Mercury like you play other gods where like you're constantly attacking if there's minions around you and stuff like that, that meter is super low. Like if you're attacking every minion, because every time you hit someone, that meter goes back down.
Yeah.
So if you keep that in mind, let's say go ahead and clear the minions and then you want to go after the god. If right away that's in your lane, your enemy, you're not going to be at that full meter. because every hit you make on an enemy drops that meter down. So when I first started playing him and trying him out, that kind of threw me off because I was like, okay, I can't hit these minions because I need to hit this god. I need to make sure my meter's maxed out. Did you notice that at all, or you completely disregarded it?
I completely disregarded it. I was just like, nah, no point.
Okay.
Completely. The same with like the movement speed. To be honest, well, is it movement speed or attack speed? It's movement speed, isn't it? Yeah, movement speed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's one of the ones you're literally going to build him as you build a physical assassin. Unless someone comes up with some really wacky build for it,
Sure.
you're not even going to think about it. It's just an extra bonus. It's like, ah, thank you very much. But yeah, I've the passive. I'm completely like, yeah, it works.
That's pretty cool
That's
though.
about
It's
it.
different. It's different. I like it. I like it.
He does have a funny hit progression as well because he's like a bit of a boxer. The way he fights, it looks kind
Yes,
of cool.
exactly. First
It
thing I
looks
thought
cool.
about.
Yeah, he hits very hard the first one, and then it progressively gets lower for the second and third hit, like
Mm-hmm.
consecutively get lower and lower, and then
Yep.
back up to the big hit again. So that first hit always pretty large.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's half from like the passive as well, increasing it, but every time you pretty much hit something, it's like bang. That was nice. It's quite refreshing, especially when it crits the first time as well. Okay, so let's move on to Made You Look, the bread and butter of his abilities. It's Mercury moves in the blink of an eye, dealing one melee attack to every enemy within the attack area. Each hit is considered a basic attack, may trigger item effects and critical hit. Now, this damage goes from like 70 to 190 and gets 50% of your physical power contributions. The
Sure.
range of it's 55 feet. But also, in addition to that, is the fact that this is the first skill we see that gets an increased radius for each skill each skill point you put in it. So from
Yeah.
5 feet all the way up to 15 feet, which is really nice with this. I actually love this ability. It's fantastic. Um,
Now,
combat that Combine that with golden bow. Oh, it's just
yeah, I
mouthful.
mean, it's an interesting ability. Made you look. I mean, as you said, it's the bread and butter of Mercury, so it's kind of something you find yourself using time and time again. I really like comboing with it with special delivery, following up with made you look. As the god ends up hitting the ground, and we'll get into special delivery here in a second. But I do like it. It's so fast though. Like I didn't think it would be that fast. The amount of damage you do. But it's really fast, like a lot faster than I thought it would be. But hey, he's Mercury, so it definitely fits his god type. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't think it's too strong. I don't think it's too weak. I think it's actually pretty balanced so far.
I think what's great, what I say about the golden bow, it's almost as if I don't know if the skill was made for it or it kind of looked like the item was made for the skill. It's just
Mhm.
amazing. The more you can get in that circle, the more damage it does.
Correct,
It will
correct.
hit everything else. All of his ability is based just literally the golden bow exponentially increases his damage output. Lane clear and everything, bang. He just goes from hitting a couple of targets to I'll just kill everything in one go.
Hmm.
It's just amazing. I love to see it actually happen. So we'll move on from there. And I normally like prioritize putting my skill points into Made You Look first, just to get that
Correct.
extra radius to make it hit easier to hit.
Yeah, because when you're starting out super early, early
Yeah.
on in the game, it's definitely effective to have that stronger. I mean, special delivery is kind of rough if you were to get into that right away. A lot of points into that because you're not engaging fully. And remember, you're an assassin, so you're not going to go ahead and overcommit like that. Maximum velocity, same thing. You have to be on top of the gods in order to actually do the, our minions and then the gods to do the damage. So, made you look is definitely a nice one to put your points into early.
Yeah. Maximum velocity is the next one. Standard like steroid ability increases his attack speed. Increases his attack speed from which adds 30 at the first level and 70 at the top level. So that's quite a lot of attack speed that they add in there. It also acts as like a full-on rank-free sprint, kind of, in ignoring slow and root effects for the duration. So you kind of want to put 1 point in that for your first 5 levels, just so if you need to chase after a Hebo and he drops a river, bang, knock that one down, and you can still chase after him. So it's not too bad. So
Yep.
it's a nice one, but it's not a very prioritizing skill because you don't scale very well till later on when you get some good items. So it's a nice one to have.
Sure, I like it. It definitely fills that boxer role that you were talking about. You're like, hey,
Mm,
Mercury's kind of like a boxer, the way you would play him, and
yeah,
I definitely feel like it when I'm using this ability. It's so good though. Like when you toss with special ability, then you had made or special delivery, and then you had made you look directly underneath of it as the person lands, and then you just follow it with maximum velocity. It's like, oh, it's so good. It's so good. Like I love
Just
the
smash
combination.
faces, didn't
It
you?
is.
Come
It
on.
is. I mean, at first I was like, oh, like it's just like a melee attack. Like this guy's boring. Like you just hit him up. But as I played him more and more, I really liked him. I still feel like they need to put like a little dagger in his hands or something like that. I feel like he is still kind of playing with just like nothing but like his fist.
Do you know what? It was odd when I was playing him at first because I kind of disliked this ability because I'm sitting there going, right, Hermes is the god of speed and everything
Hmm.
like that. So we've got a dash from special delivery, but half the
Yeah.
time you use that, we'll go into it a bit more. Half the time you use that, you hit a target and throw them elsewhere, and then it's like, okay, then you've got your sonic boom, all right. But then after the rest of the time, it's like, but they're just kiting me now. I can't do anything. I need
Sure.
some more
Sure.
speed. So I was a
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
like,
You're like trying
ah.
to chase him down. You're like, come here. Come here.
Yeah. So I struggled a bit, but after like so many games, I started to get used to it, so it wasn't too bad.
Yep.
So other than that, special delivery, I kind of love this, but it also makes you very vulnerable as well. Mercury dashes forward, knocking aside minions and grabbing the first enemy god he encounters and spinning them. The enemy god takes damage until the effect ends, and Mercury throws the god in the direction of your choosing. Now, there's a slight, I don't know if it's a slight bug, but at the minute after you hit someone with your sonic boom, which is your ultimate, that you hit them, and while
Yep.
they're straight away go into a special delivery, you grab them and instantly throw them.
Yeah.
So you need to just to combat that, hit them with your sonic boom, then just wait a second for them to like move or do something, and then hit them with a special delivery, just to kind of then you hold them for the full duration, just kind of combat that off
Few
nicely.
things on special delivery, and I'll throw them over to you first. First question I guess I'll throw to you is: do you think the distance that you toss the person is too far or too short? And the second question is: do you like the fact that you can go through minions to grab them, or do you feel it should be like Sobek's ability, where if you hit a minion first, you have to grab that minion, not the god?
At first, I really hated it because, well, the distance wise, because I was throwing them and then I was trying to kite them, and I was like, ah.
Hmm.
But now, if you throw them and start running, you generally get to where they land and manage to get a basic attack on them. You will, after a while, figure out very quickly that when you get to throw them at a wall. If you're next
Hmm.
to a wall, throw them at the wall because then you get an extra basic attack in
Sure,
afterwards.
sure.
What was the second question? It
Second question
was.
about should it be like the Sobek ability, do you think, or should it be exactly the way it is, where you actually go through minions?
I think it should be the way it is at the minute because it kind of works like his Sonic Boom ability that just goes through everybody and makes them spin.
Hmm.
So it kind of works like that. Like he's charging through a couple of guys, grabs somebody, and then spins them. Yeah, I'd stick with that. And also, it gives him a bit of a lane clear as well.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. First off, the distance I felt like was a little short, the toss that you go through, but he is an assassin. And when you're using special delivery, that is your commitment, kind of like Loki when you're jumping in, um, right on top of someone. Special delivery is his commitment ability. When it comes to tossing the person, I felt like it could be a little bit farther than what it is, just with the distance. I'm trying to look here and see.
It's like the Sobek knockup, really. It kind
Yeah,
of
I
feels.
just felt like it was so much short. I was imagining it when we first heard about it and read about it that it would be farther than what it is. So maybe a little bit farther would be kind of cool.
Mm.
Outside of that, I definitely like it. As for the fact that you can go through minions to go ahead and grab someone, I think it's essential. He isn't a tank. He is an assassin, and I think it's extremely required to be able to plow through minions like he does and actually do the toss. So I'm actually kind of happy with it. Maybe a little bit farther distance, but we'll have to see how it works out.
It's definitely a skill that you want to choose wisely when you use it because fair enough, you've just charged into a god and spin them and going to throw somewhere else,
Oh,
but
I
you and the
know.
god are stuck in that position for for that 1 second. I'm sure you can kind of cancel it early, but for that one
Yeah.
second, everyone's like, ah, I'm going to kill him. So it's pretty
Right.
much that. So yeah, just be careful, especially if you get minion aggro early on as well.
Hmm.
Uh, this is my favorite ability in the game. Ah, I love
It's
it.
pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom. Yeah, Mercury uh gathers energy for a powerful dash. He makes a nice clap as well. I haven't actually looked to see if he claps his hand, but there's a clap sound. He gathers all the energy for a powerful dash, with the range extending as he does up to a 500 feet, which is the distance between the long lane towers pretty much. It's quite far. You pretty much can't see any further than that. He travels the distance faster than the speed of sound, dealing damage to all enemies, disorientating them and spinning them in a random direction. Disorientating for like a 1 second. So it's a nice little hit.
Sure.
Oh, I love this. It's the best skill in the world.
It is pretty badass. I'll give it to you.
I use it especially as a jungler because there is, until you get this ability, you don't realize how many like straight lines you can get through a jungle. There's quite a few you can come
like
from.
a straight path. Yeah.
Yeah, you can move from in front of the movement speed buff into the left lane, like with a straight line. So you're technically outside of ward vision, straight in and get somebody. I did that to a Guan Yu once. That was fun. But then also the fact that Mercury is in the. I play him in the solo lane sometimes, and he is the perfect counter to Chunga. Every time I went up against Chunga, ripped her apart. Absolutely ripped her apart.
Yeah, he has pretty good burst against somebody like that. And those of you guys aren't familiar with the Sonic Boom, pretty much Mercury crouches down, loads up his ability, and then fires across the map, going just over the length of actually a tower to tower. And he not only disorients people that he goes through in his direct line, but does a pretty good amount of damage. And there's been a lot of complaints about it. Oh, you should be able to do that, blah, blah, blah. But if you think of it, look at Thor. Look at Apollo. Yeah. Look at Thanatos. Like, all those gods do the exact same thing that he does, except those gods have the ability to go in different directions, whereas Mercury is on the ground, so he can be hit by people, and he only goes in one straight line. So I definitely like the ability. It's kind of like, I imagine like a slingshot. Like, you pull it back, you let go, and bam, you're like there. So I like it. I think it's cool. But I haven't played against him enough to actually like see how to counter it. Did you notice much counter with him?
What with the
with his ultimate?
You don't counter it. To be honest, you don't even the amount of times that you think you don't even know he's there. Or pretty much every time that you happen, you don't know he's there. At least with Loki, when he would come in, you'd hear the stealth, and then you'd know, oh crap, it's coming in. With Mercury, bang, poof. What was that? You literally are. You're as much disorientated as your character.
Okay.
It's just as bad. But it's great for tower diving because you get into the tower range and hit the target before you take that initial hit from actually getting into the tower as well. Great jungler. And someone said, Epsilon was saying about that he feels Mercury can only be played in the jungle because he doesn't have very good lane clear.
Yeah.
Made you look fantastic in the solo lane. I would, for an easy time, rush a golden bow, level up Made You Look, solo lane piece of piss. You'll be fine with that. It's
that easy,
it's
huh?
Great.
That easy.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I think sometimes you have a bit of trouble with early bruisers like Hercules and stuff like that. But even then, you poke them down quite well as long as you got the blue buff. Another thing to add that Made You Look requires line of sight because I kept trying to use it over a wall thinking, oh great, I'll just get him around a corner.
I noticed that too, and it would be nice if you didn't require line of sight, like a leap or something like that, or other abilities. Like, I mean, I just feel like with a lot of the other items and abilities in the game, it would be nice that you don't need line of sight for those little ganking abilities or steals and stuff like that.
Well, seeing as he's moving so fast anyway that he's there and back, it's like, would it really matter if he moved around the corner a bit and then back?
Sure.
Kind of like that. So, yeah, but then I'd kind of go with the fact that it does everything else. Would it then be too strong? Because the critting from it is quite funny sometimes when you get it. It's like, that feels so good.
So I'll throw this one to you. We've seen Hi-Rez release a fair amount of gods so far. A lot of the gods have been either most of the time too overpowered. Usually we don't see them that they're too underpowered and need to be tweaked a ton. Where do you put Mercury in all this? Do you think he's balanced? Do you think he's overpowered?
I kind of think he's in the middle. He's either like right in the middle, slightly into the strong section.
Okay.
But to be honest, you can shut him down. You can shut him down. It's more his mobility and his surprise that catches you out. The fact that you can come from across the map, or you can actually come sideways on from the jungle as well. Actually, a couple of scenarios: sideways on the jungle and behind your team in a team fight. You can shoot through the enemy team, disorientate them, and be safe on the other side to just do a runner and leave. It works out great that way. What I have noticed is we're getting to the point with all the gods they're introducing that no matter where you are on the map, you're not going to escape. You can't
Oh,
get out
sure,
because
sure.
obviously we got Neith, Thor, Apollo. Now
Mm-hmm.
Thanatos can see you, so if you got one of him on your team, you know where they are anyway.
Sure, sure.
Um, and now you've got Mercury. You literally have to be in the most secluded little section to back safely, or just run all the way, just run back. Even running back, you're going to get done.
Yeah, I'd be
But
interested
yeah,
to see how he makes out next week when you're allowed to play him in the competitive play. To
yeah.
see if we see a lot of people pick him up as their jungler or as their ganker, or if we don't see it at all with Mercury and
I
kind of wait and leave it to the competitive scene to actually see what kind of gets unveiled.
I'd say his damage isn't that extreme early on.
Okay.
Fair enough when he get literally once you get up to Deathbringer, like your standard Deathbringer stage, that's when you start pumping out some real DPS.
Sure.
But
Sure.
early on, he's more of a control. He'll do some damage, do some good amount of damage, but he's more of a I'll grab you, keep you in the lane for everyone else to DPS you. So it works
Yeah.
out love.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, someone said there, look, Mercury, Hercules, Sobek, triple lane. Just imagine that pool, man. That's
I know,
unreal.
right? That'd be kind of brutal. Well, let's
Yeah.
go ahead, guys, and move on past Mercury. If you guys have any comments or questions, go ahead and put them in chat, and we can hopefully get to them. So to go over the new skins that came out this past patch, we saw the Mercury Quicksilver, kind of cool, kind of design there, just a quick little change up. Golden Agni and also Golden Naja. Did you get the Golden Naja yet, or you haven't played enough?
No, I haven't, to be honest.
Tis, tis.
I didn't notice it until after I spent my favor on like the
Okay,
recolors, and then I went, oh, but I've only got mastery rank 5 on Naja, so I've not got
okay.
the legend
You
yet.
got some time. You got some time.
Yeah, I got plenty.
On top of that, we had a few voice packs come out, the Mercury and also Arachne. And then finally jumping into the general section of the patch notes here. Gonna browse through these kind of quick. We saw gods are now placed into a few different categories, actually 5. Assassin, Warrior, Guardian, Mage, Hunter. What do you think about these titles, by the way? Assassin,
Uh,
Warrior, Guardian, Mage, and Hunter.
Warrior and kind of Guardian is a bit So Warrior, I'd say Warrior's the bruiser, Guardian's the tank.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very. Those are the only two that are not clear. Hunter, was that ranged?
Yes, correct.
That
That's like
that
an
I
yeah,
yeah
that's like an on her, a Neath,
yeah. So
stuff like that.
it's okay. It kind of goes into the next bit that they're gonna do, or the next point you're gonna go at. But I suppose they did it. I don't have any complaints about it. It's just their own labeling system. Every game has their own.
Sure, sure. I don't think it's bad. I would have liked to see it like earlier on in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It just kind of seems off where we go from tank and stuff like that, and we're used to it, and we've been
Well,
playing it for a
it
while through beta.
it's kind of what they say is there's no real tanks in the game. It's completely like horseshit. That they say there's no tanks. There's only supports. Well, Ymir's a tank, but I can see their view that everyone that's not like an AD is kind of like
Yeah.
a support and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, I like someone's message in chat. I like Guardian title since they're always babysitting the carry.
Yeah, pretty much.
Moving on from there, the Assault game mode will now have assigned one god for each class. So once again, one god for Assassin, Warrior, Guardian, Mage, and Hunter. Kind of happy about this because sometimes when I jump into an Assault, I'd be like, really? Our whole team's squishy, and yet they have 2 tanks on the other team or something like that. And I was like, ugh. So kind of happy to see this. Did you see any downside, or are you happy with this change?
No, I was happy to see this as well. It does remove sometimes the complete troll wins that you get, like 5 carries on one team. It's like, yeah, we're never going to be able to put out that much DPS and stuff. So it's definitely it's one of the ones that takes the random out, but still has a little bit of random.
Sure. I mean, it's kind of interesting because I wonder if we'll start to see this apply in other game modes. Or if we'll start to see like a looking for group type of style where you can set your what type of class you're looking for. Like, hey, I'm a hunter looking for group.
Well, I suppose that would be good if you use that a bit further up as well.
Yep.
For people making teams, because if you keep playing with the same people that are always like support,
Yeah.
well then you're always the carry, they're always the support, and someone else always the mage. It makes it a bit easier than rather than people going, well, I normally play carry, but today I'm going to play support because I have to, and stuff like
That's
that.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
On top of that, for brand new players, Guan Yu has replaced Poseidon. Makes sense. Guan Yu's kind of the new latest and greatest. A lot of changes done to him, so he's a lot of fun to play, and I can see it appealing to new players, and that's what they're trying to do is attract new players. So Guan Yu swap up with Poseidon. A new tab has been added within settings to use simple targeting. This is an option for the 3D element. So depending on your settings and stuff like that, your graphics, you can use the nice 3D targeting system, or you can go back to the basic two-dimensional.
Do you know what? I've just noticed that because I was wondering why like some of the targeters like crap. I was thinking surely they just put them in just for like placeholders and stuff like that. Where is that setting? I'll have to
Yeah.
look for that because
Yep.
I like pretty things.
Yep. When an enemy comes within a word range, the mini map is now automatically pinged. So that's kind of cool. But it's good or bad because it's making the game more basic for beginners.
I said that.
Whereas for like amateur and novice players, it's part of your job to keep an eye on the mini map in order to catch that. Compared to like, oh, ping. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts there?
It makes it harder sometimes for the jungler to sneak up for you. It's like harder for the ganks. If you just put a ward there, you just wait for a noise.
Yep.
So you don't really have to look. So
Yep.
It does get you looking at the map more than you would think. So it's always good to see that. They need to turn it off for spectator because I was going.
Yes,
I kind of switched off from it, so it wasn't that bad. But yeah, it could get annoying quite quickly. Other than that, it's as long as they give you the option to switch off in competitive play.
Yeah,
I feel that'd be all right. At the minute, there's no option, but I think they're going to add an option for that at some point.
Yeah, we'll have to see there. I'd like it taken away. I don't like the fact that it pings automatically. I don't like the fact that it pings automatically. It takes that hard part. It takes that away. I mean, that's a skill that you start to build up as a Smite player.
Well, yeah. Could you imagine if you go from like casuals into like competitive play or something like that? It's like, whoa, I don't know what I'm looking for. I keep getting ganked because there's no ping. Why didn't ping and stuff? Yeah, it's just.
Somebody mentioned in chat, if you put down a word on assault, what is it like? Bing, 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 bing,
Oh yeah,
bing, bing, bing,
Artemis
bing.
traps. It pings for Artemis traps. So if you
oh my gosh! Turn that off. Click. Outside of that, a new screen has been added under the stats that summarizes your god mastery. Thank goodness. I'm really happy to see this because before, when they first came out in the mastery, it was like, okay, let me count. Let me see everything we have. What do we have? Okay, I got this many and this many and this many. So I'm kind of happy that they made that change there. The skill screen K has undergone some usable and visual changes. So I'm really happy to see some changes there. The K screen wasn't like horrible, but the more detail.
It looks good now.
Oh yeah, the more detail and education they can add to that, the better. So what we're talking about, guys, is once you're in game and you hold down K, it goes ahead and kind of shows you your different abilities and some information about all the different abilities. So check that out. The scoreboard has undergone some visual changes as well, which that's been undergoing changes all the time now. And let's see here. Updated some skin selector of God pages. Let's see. The regular, golden, legendary, promotional. They made some changes there.
They broke the skin selector. It doesn't remember the last skin you used.
Oh,
now.
I did not know that.
I told Duke, and he went, "Oh, for God's sake!" So that might be fixed later on, but at the moment, yeah, it's broke.
Well,
so I have to keep reselecting my skin all the time.
That's good to know. If your frame rate drops below a target level, the system will now automatically drop the level of detail on the graphics and performance. This is a huge step. I don't know if people realize this. It's a huge step because if people will go ahead and set their settings in game and then go ahead and play, and if they dislike what they're seeing, I'm kind of happy to see now that they go ahead and actually drop your settings to make the game run at peak performance. It kind of reminds me of like WoW, whereas on WoW, like it's a game, World of Warcraft is a game that pretty much you can use across the board, almost no matter what computer you're running, because it's built for like the ages depending on your settings. It was
built for dual core. That was it. That's all you needed.
But like now with Smite, it's really cool that it looks at your FPS, looks at the drop, and then goes, okay, we need to go ahead and tone this down because it's too much. So I'm really happy with it. I'm glad Smite is taking that into account moving forward. It's a huge difference when it comes down to playability and the client side stuff. So I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Well, it saves them going, well, this plays like crap. and not realizing, well, turn down your graphics.
Yeah.
It's just dumb. And every time I flick back to the notes and come back to the screen, I've got Kelly's face every time on the stream. I'm like, what the hell is this?
What's
Kelly
she doing
show?
on there? Yeah,
Yeah,
she was on a lot of videos recently, so she's up
yeah,
on there for a little bit.
it's funny. No, it's good.
On top of that, the Conquest map has undergone some additional art revisions, new towers on the Invader side. Man, they just don't get tired of doing the Conquest changes. I mean, what is this, 5, 6 times we've seen?
You got to keep all them artists working, ain't you?
Got to
They
keep
got
them
nothing
busy.
else
They're
to-
not happy. I
Yeah.
mean, God, I was happy with the original towers, let alone going this far into it.
So it's wooden towers now for the Invader side.
Anyways, the background scene used in the end of the match lobby animations has been modified. A variety of performance changes have been done. They fixed an issue with the stun and taunt on Athena for her second ability would cancel the auto attack by left clicking, so that was fixed. Little tweaks here and there. Glad to see that. Video tutorials, god guides, community videos now under the TV menu instead of the guides area. So they're kind of trying to condense everything down. Like,
Do you know with the god guides? I'm going to pull that up. I'd like to see something other than reveals in god guides, like community
You're
stuff
looking
going
for
in there.
community god guides, yeah.
Yeah, because it said featured guides, which is the reveal. That's not exactly a guide.
Yeah, I
Is
mean
it
the
really?
reveals are good. The reveals are good, but the community demands more guides. They demand more detailed guides from like anybody in the community. So I can understand that.
Yeah, well, you've got like video tutorials that's got a really, really old tutorial on it. You've got community videos that literally is just plays of the week. I'd like to see them probably go around the community and grab up some videos and bung them on there. Just give like all the content creators a bit more like purpose.
Yeah,
which would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be something different.
Yeah.
Outside that, a few other changes here. The Alt key is now the default key binding for free mouse, formerly defaulted to spacebar.
Do you know what? I switched that straight back. I went, "What are you doing?" I just was like, "Go away, no."
Get out!
So now
Get out!
both.
Why you gotta try to change stuff?
Yeah,
on me?
stop changing my.
I've been playing it this long for how long? What are you doing?
What else am I using the spacebar for? Nothing. So now I've got to move my thumb into my hand.
I know, right? This is actually a big one. An issue has been fixed in which structures were taking more than expected damage from physical damage gods if those gods had the fire giant buff. So, yeah, glad they fixed that. And,
I never noticed.
I know, right? And finally, the new god rotation is Agni, Hades, Loki, Tyr, and Shablanke. Let's go ahead and toss it over to Risty, and we'll go into a few of the other sections of the patch notes.
Well, the spectator changes is, I'd say, literally the whole section is completely pointless because even looking at it, you don't notice nothing. They an early experimentational feature they added which the spectators can squish the mini map for better visual bits. It's bind to you by default. I checked that. I went on and pressed U and nothing happened.
Are you surprised?
Yeah, no. A lot of like default left and turns flying up and down have changed.
Yep.
Well, I've got set buttons, which I've got everything bound to my Nostromo, so the buttons didn't change for me. So it all feels the same. Something else about the popping issue, view popping issue when in isometric view and pinging the map. Didn't know anything about that, and added a smoothing thing when attaching to players. So the smoothing when you attach to a player is probably the bigger one because it was a bit like jerky, especially when the players would go spin and you'd be like, whoa, what's going on?
Well, the big thing that I saw, and I tried to report it with spectator mode, I should say try to report it, I did report it, is if you're on spectator mode and you're locked on a god, you're following them, so kind of what you're talking about there, and the person dies, your camera hits the ground. In the Joust map. I don't know if necessarily it occurs on Conquest, but on a Joust 3v3, just because I do a lot of casting there, if I'm viewing Risty and Risty's playing a 3v3 and I'm following along him and he dies, I slam to the ground all the way, like real quick, woo! And you're at ground level suddenly. That's kind of annoying for spectator mode, so hopefully we see them get that addressed.
I suppose because it's always trying to look from the back, where the back's obviously laying on the floor, it's trying to flip itself down and it doesn't quite work. So yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We have active items kind of changed. Well, I'd say this is more of a fix. Hand of God and Fixer Gods. The damage is that is done to minions is now always 480 in scenarios where the target does not meet the automatic kill requirements.
Correct.
So
Which
maybe
makes
like
sense.
the fire giant before, and before it was instantly killed. If you hit it too far up, you'd still do 480 now than you would before.
Yeah.
So that's
Makes
that one.
sense. Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. Existing normal items is their section for this. Really weird.
Yeah, that's kind of
Okay.
interesting. It's like, oh, a new title for their patch notes.
Yeah. Golden bow. Each target can no longer be hit by more than a single golden bow proc. Which,
That's changed
yeah,
up there. Yep.
it's to be honest, yeah, because where is it? Well, does that? I'm trying to think how that works. If I hit 3 targets, like,
Yep.
well, think of now. Does this work with? I think the only one that can actually get away with this one is the new major look with Mercury, where he can hit 3 targets at the same, well, as many targets as he wants at the same time, and it all procs. It does seem to all the procs still hit all the targets, so like everything will hit another target. So like, yeah, it works that way. This one, obviously, yeah, I'm losing myself. I know it works kind of, but it works as intended. It doesn't feel strange. It feels kind of like very natural.
Yeah.
Vermana's ultimate can now benefit from this item. So I'm guessing Golden Bow didn't work in Vermana's ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
So this make that big baby just a little bit stronger. Um,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit. Magi Blessing crowd reduction, crowd control reduction was increased from 10% to 30% to 10% to 40%. So they're just giving that a little bit of an increase.
Correct.
Nothing major.
Yep.
Now, these new items that they've added, a few of
Oh
these
my
items
gosh.
were suggested by the community members, so we got to give them credit for that. This one,
Sure.
was it Asi? How would you pronounce that?
Assy,
ASI.
it doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
They're all asinine, stupid names which nobody can actually read off.
Pronounce.
I heard they're going to be replacing the. I think Erez said they're going to be replacing the names because nobody can say them.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's just like, why? Unless we're like really native tongue to it, it doesn't work. Especially the casters are like, it's
And
yeah,
they're
we don't
using
know.
that item, you know, that
Pretty
new
much.
one that nobody can say, but it's that new item.
I honestly never used this item. Well, I've never personally found a use for this item yet.
Okay.
Well, I've not looked that hard to be honest. But it's more like the Kali item, the Kali passive, but put into an item. Other than that, I don't know where you'd use it. I'm sure someone's like, "Oh, you're so thick, you'd use it here," but I'm like, okay. There's other items I'd much rather put it in. And to be honest, if I'm below 25 health, I'm normally in a bad situation anyway, so I'm gonna die. So it's not really, it's not too much to worry.
I kind of like some of the other items though.
Yeah, we're moving on to Frostbound Amulet. I love the fact that they put this in because since they switched, obviously the slow. Some items can only be used by certain gods. They obviously had, and the fact they had, it was the gem of binding to the mages for the auto attacks. They needed something for our abilities as a physical. So like Berserker's Barrage now will slow if you hit them with this because enemies hit by this damage. Enemies hit by your damaging abilities will move 10% slower for 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet, isn't it?
Yeah. I just like it. Just needed that addition, really. Just seeing as you've got the mages, have got 2. Why not give the ADs 2? Just kind of even it out. That's kind of the way I look at it there.
Yeah, I like it. Moving on from there, guys. Some additional items we had: Hide of Urchin. This is a new tier 3 item for Hide of Leviathan. What this does is it's about 2,500 gold, so pretty pricey, and it gives you 45 physical protection, 45 magical, 250 health, 250 mana, and the passive is you gain +2 protections for each god or kill or assist, max of 10 stacks. Pretty sure. I mean, this is a great item for tanks, without a doubt. Gives you health, gives you mana. Awesome right off the bat.
I hear it's very good item for John Queer, especially with like all his passive. Everyone's like, when he's got this, the guy just doesn't die. Well,
think of it. It gives him health and mana, so right off the back, it's a nice boost for him. That the additional mana is good for his attacks. Physical, magical protection. Okay, cool. But then on top of that, he has even more protections. I mean, I feel like they need to apply this and be like, okay, John Quee, you can't use it. You're not allowed.
Yeah, I think what it was, he gets 125 protection for anything he has, which is more than a single defensive item. And he only has to buy that one, and it does everything. So his passive does both. this does both, and the passive on this item does both as well.
Yeah.
So this is probably the best item in the game for him to use. So I definitely will be using that from
Oh,
now
it's a
on.
great item, and I mean, I like it on gods like Ymir or gods like Sobek as well. But the fact that other gods who can benefit from this even more, like John Kui, just makes me so mad because we just saw a change to John Kui with nerfing him, and now all of a sudden it's like the nerf's like 5. Well, this makes up for that nerf without a doubt, and just fills in that gap. So it's like, ugh.
There's 2 items they added in this patch that buff him. This is one, and I'll wait till we get to the
All
next
right.
one.
Mail of Renewal. This is another tier 3 item. It's 2,400 gold, so a little bit less than the Hide of Urchin. And it gives you plus 40 physical protection, 300 health, plus 10% cooldown reduction. And then finally, the passive is you gain 10% of your maximum health and mana over the next 5 seconds when you get a kill or assist against an enemy god.
It's an interesting item.
Yep.
It's another one where I'd honestly at the moment I don't know a scenario where I'd pick it up.
Yeah.
But it's one of them ones that's like, yeah, okay. Maybe as like not as a tank, but maybe a support. You could probably pick that up. Is maybe
Sure.
like a Hercules or someone pick it up. That would be quite good. Other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, and the next one, which people are calling the Rod of Healing.
You could also use that as well as instead of getting cooldown reduction boots, you could put this in and get your cooldown reduction cap. I think the cooldown reduction cap's still 35.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Rod of
finally,
Healing,
the next
yes.
item, Rod of Healing, people seem to call it, or Rod of Aselphis. I don't even know.
Ascalpus or something like that.
It's the Rod of Healing. Come on now. Tier 3 item. Now this is expensive. 2660. So pretty pricey. 75 magical power, so it's really strong off the back. 200 health, 10%, not 100, 10% movement speed, and finally, it has an aura actually to it. The healing and health regeneration of allies within 70 feet is increased by 15%. What are your thoughts on this item?
You'd buy that as a support just for their magical power alone and 10% speed.
Frank the tank right there.
Yeah, I see that. To be honest, I see everybody buying this. There's always a game where someone's got this.
Yeah.
Obviously the healing is kind of like braces of replenishment.
Yep.
But unlike braces of replenishment, I get a crap ton of magical power and movement speed.
Oh, I know, right?
Well, let's just go with this one. Bung this on Hell or Ra. Yeah. Whoa, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I mean, I would see this even on someone like Poseidon, except for like the last ability, which is that aura on there. But for Poseidon, the damage, the health, and then add to his already very fast movement speed is very, very good. Either way, though, I mean, this could be used anywhere across the board. But as you said, gods that have the ability to heal, it's definitely going to benefit as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Finally, Telchine's ring.
Oh, it's like telekinesis thing, and it's like
pretty much. Yeah, this is a new tier 3 item, 2125 for gold, 45 magical power, 30 magical protection, 10% attack speed, and your basic attack hits deal 40 additional magical damage to the target. So right off the back, more magical power, magical protection.
Stick it on Kronos.
Pretty much. And then more attack speed. This item is good to go and definitely gets out there.
This is the other item I said buffs John Kui, because at the moment they will probably fix this, but at the moment the book that John Kui has that does the basic attack, it adds 40 to that as well. So you get twice the amount. So he gets 80 just him. So they'll probably fix that because that's kind of like unintended. But other than that, yeah, it's another it's just a lot of weird items this time. This is like what do we do? Let's just stick them in just to see what people do.
I know, right? Patches. I know, right?
I know. So definitely. Anything else on that one?
No, let's go ahead and jump into the god changes this patch.
So the gods on her now has a new loading screen and thumbnail for the default skin. Kind of matching up with all like the other artwork, so they're just kind of.
But I still his new thumbnail when you're picking the god selection, I feel like doesn't match anything else. If you look at it, it just doesn't match. It doesn't look. I don't know. Whatever.
You and the artwork. You don't match the artwork.
I'm so picky about it, but I don't think it matches at all.
No. Alcon got new ground targeters. Arachne's got the new ground targeters.
Yeah.
And Cocoon No way. I have only just noticed this.
Oh, this is so cool.
No way. This is terrible.
Yep.
Cocoon. This ability can now be fired through walls.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good now.
Does that mean
Think of
make
it. You're in
like
lane and someone's trying to run out of lane, or you're trying to catch somebody, like, or you're in jungle and you're trying to catch somebody in lane. Aim, fire, boom, right through a wall. Grab them.
that's I've to be honest, I actually don't like that. Just the fact that the way the web works, or the way the physics should work, is
Yeah.
a web shouldn't be able to pull someone through a physical wall.
It's a magical web, though. It's a
Yeah,
magical web.
I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure if I like that too much.
Somebody in chat. Somebody in chat. Can the spider have her cripple back yet? Nope.
No,
Nope.
she's not having that. It's
Nope.
bad enough.
Not allowed.
Slow in the game anyway.
That's right.
At that stage, it was like, oh, but no, yeah, you can't hug walls anymore, especially if you're like in the side lanes and she goes into the blue buff and you're kind of just sitting there.
Yep.
Straight in, done.
Oh.
Right. Oh, it'd be
It's
horrible.
so true. It's so true, though.
Yeah. So, Armor's had a new ground target as well. The trap. The trap has been modified to make it slightly less visible to enemies.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about that one? Now, like, the trap's like... I thought the trap was pretty hard to see in the first place because it would be like that tannish color would kind of match the tiles.
It's not too... To be honest, it's not too bad. I notice it pretty much most of the time anyway. I've not gone past a trap that I've not seen. Back when it was in Assault and would kind of like go underneath the snow, that was the worst bit. Other than that, no, I'm still fine. It's not that bad.
I feel like they don't need to phase it, like they don't need to make it super hard to see. I think what they need to do is allow her to launch her trap. I'm not talking about super far, but at least allow her to put it forward a few feet compared to having to be right on top of it. Because then, as you're like chasing a god, you could throw down the trap as a CC.
She can put it out in front of her.
Yeah, but not that far, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, let's say you're trying to chase down a guard.
Maybe a bit further, yeah.
You could either have it as an arrow or as like a toss that would put the trap out. You know?
Like a Neef snare with a 1.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Let's throw it out there.
Athena, updated loading screen and thumbnail as well. When at first you don't succeed, try and try again, apparently it says. So
yeah, that was because the other one was a little risque. So they went ahead and swapped. They didn't want her to look like a hooker, so they swapped it up.
I like the risque ones. Okay, we don't want them to look like a hooker. We've got Aphrodite and the diagnostic skin. Yeah. How much more could you want to go?
Yeah.
We can't lose any more clothing as it is.
Somebody in chat, she was a whore.
Primitive Strike fixed the bug where Athena would complete her dash when CC'd during the dash. Okay.
Yep.
Other than that, Confound fixed the bug where the enemies would not auto attack while taunt. Oh, okay. So basically, you wouldn't shoot at her when she taunted you. So that's
correct.
Bakasura's regurgitation area has been changed to a volume to remove cripple as soon as the enemy leaves the area. So basically, they had a bit of an overlap, which shouldn't have been there. So it fixes an issue where cripple will be longer than intended.
Yep.
It's kind of funny, Bakasura cripple, because you now like it does so much damage with that true damage that he's got.
Yep.
I can't jump away anymore either. It's
I was just trying to get out of that. The cripple, it's so potent. So I'm so happy that
it slows as well, doesn't it?
Yes. It's just ridiculous. Like once he gets on top of you, it's like, all right, you could try to get out, but you're not going anywhere.
I have to give it credit though; it is difficult to land. It's not. It's slow launching, like the Arachne web. Well, it used to be anyway. I haven't played it in such a long time, so it was a bit difficult to land before. So yeah, regurgitate minions now play a different death animation and sound to avoid confusion of Bakasura dying. So that works out nicely. And the effects playing on you, indicating that you are in the regurgitation area, has been changed to be more clear. Not seen that, so I
haven't actually been in it yet. So once I am, I'll definitely let you know.
I avoid Bakasura as much as possible.
Pretty much like, oh, there he is. Run away. Doesn't matter if it's 3-on-1. Run away. Run away.
Pretty much.
So furthermore, on some of the last few god changes here, Bastet, we have new targeters, and biggest, we actually have the passive. I'd be interested to get your opinion on this. This is Open Wounds, which replaces 9 lives. When Bastet hits an enemy with Pounce, Razor Claws, or Ninetales, she wounds them, the target, for 3 seconds. So they kind of get this debuff on them for 3 seconds. If the target has been wounded, Those abilities now deal 50% more damage and remove it. So the way it works is she goes ahead and attacks you with Pounce, Razor Claws, or Ninetales. It gives you a debuff for 3 seconds. In that time of that debuff, if she attacks you with any one of those other abilities again, it's 50% more damage. What is your thoughts on this new
So
Pounce?
basically, it strengthens her poke even more, as if it wasn't bad enough the first time,
Yep.
where she pounces in on you and then rips you. So you just dot up, and then she gets her 3 beads away,
Yep.
and gets away. She needed an upgrade on her passive anyway.
Sure.
We'll have to
Sure.
just see how this one kind of works, to be
Yeah.
honest. I feel that probably increasing it's an odd one to have
Yeah.
because of the way the Pounce Razor Claw combo works at the minute.
Sure.
But then I suppose that's what they intended it for slightly. One thing I've noticed though that they need to fix, I think, is that her ultimate, the cats, can lock people in. If they're dropped just right. I've seen it in like happen 3 times in one
where you
match.
can't get through them and you're stuck.
Yeah, they literally do like I don't know, like a 3-point star, and you're in the center of it and you can't move.
Yeah, I don't like
seen it
that. That's a
few
pain in
times.
the ass because not only they do enough damage as it is. If you get my opinion on it,
Yeah,
but
and
if
they
you can't get
slow
away,
and all
that's a
that.
pain. Yeah, you got to slow on it as well. It's like, all right, let's add in a trap ability to them. So I think that I think that should not even be the ability. You should be able to get out regardless. I've seen that before. Drives me
Yeah.
nuts too.
You wouldn't even be able to DPS Bastet because the cats would take the damage first
Sure,
as well. So
sure. On top of that,
it's just a
Pounce
bit
had some
much.
changes. This ability now shows a countdown for further communication, communicating the remaining time available to Pounce back. So they made it a little bit easier. And using teleport will now cancel your return Pounce timer, which was important because there were some problems there.
Was it really necessary the teleport thing? To be honest, the only
Yep.
the only time people would do this would just to troll or just take the piss. You'd never use it any other time, would you?
It'd
Because
be so much fun though.
yeah, well, you'd only be able to teleport to your own towers,
Correct. Correct.
so you wouldn't go very. Yeah,
It's still kind of cool.
yeah, that's weird. Yeah, other than that, no, okay.
On top
So
of that,
it's
go
for the
ahead.
laugh. No, it's just for the fun of it. Other than that,
Yeah. On top of that, Chunga, Moonlit Waltz. This ability has been changed so that the amount of time that she is unable to be hit has been increased from 1 second to 1.2. I think it was at 1.4 at one point. They turned it down to 1. So it looks like they're finding a happy median in the middle. Waxing Moon, the base damage of this ability has been reduced, taking a nerf on her. At early game 175, now to 160, and late game 475 to 460, so a 15 difference. Did you think that Chunga needed this change?
Waxing Moon hurts. Chungo is always like a pretty strong, but she's pretty strong because of Crescent Moon cooldown. I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
To be honest, Crescent Moon doesn't like. I suppose when it hits, you know when it hits and hurts you.
Definitely.
So okay, maybe that's a bit lenient because after a while the Crescent Moons kind of chill out. Well, it's yeah, I'll give them that one. I don't mind seeing that because I feel she needs a little bit of a nerf anyway. I felt she puts out way too much damage for what she does because she heals way too much.
I'm still a believer in gods having one independent role, and even though I know it'll never happen, I'm kind of happy to see this change too. If she's going to be a support, she should be a support. She can do a little bit of damage, but she's supporting. She's doing the healing. I don't like when she first came out. She was a tank. She could do more damage than some of the straight mages, so I'm really happy to see a little adjustments made to her.
It was fun.
Oh, when she first came out,
it
was like, okay, Chunga can mid lane because she does more damage than other mages, and she can heal and has amazing sustain. So I'm glad there were some changes there finally. Finally, Han Bat Sacred Monkey. This ability has been changed so that after firing the ability, pressing the ability again will now teleport you to the next target hit.
Skill shot. Whee!
Yeah, a little different there. Yep. So yeah, kind of cool.
But the only thing I haven't know, I think I saw it that the Sacred Monkey didn't actually teleport on the last hit anymore. Yeah. So that's good because that also gives back his poke. Now I didn't mind him having his poke. I thought the fact that the teleport was a bit off the rocker anyway. So this is good. If you want to teleport in, obviously, you know where it's kind of going. Now I'm a bit unsure how the timing works on the the ability.
Yeah.
If you've got to hit it just before it hits, or you've got a bit of a window when it hits to kind of like teleport in. So.
Yeah, I haven't played him yet to see exactly how that works out. I'll have to play him this week and see how that works out. On Thanatos Soul Reap, the amount of time between firing this ability and the damage occurring has been reduced from 0.6 seconds to 0.4. On top of that, Hovering Death, the amount of time between firing this ability and flying into the air has been reduced, and that's his ultimate, guys, from 1.5 seconds to 1.2. Thanatos can now see through the fog of war when he is flying during his ultimate. So what are your thoughts on the Thanatos changes?
Well, the Soul Reap. Okay, fair enough. It's a bit of a delay, but it's 0.2 seconds. You're not really going to notice it too much.
Yeah.
The Hovering Death, I kind of felt that he was on the ground for like far too long. It felt like forever when you're getting hit.
Yeah, but you got to remember, is it an offensive, defensive ability? Most of the time, it's both. Just like Apollo and Thor. That ability.
I don't even know how long it takes for Thor to charge up. That's like 1.5 or something.
Yeah, I'd be interested to find. I don't know the stats for each god. I'd have to find out, but I'm interested to see where they lie with the build-up.
Yeah, because you're the same with like Apollo. Apollo's got a bit of a build-up as well.
And some people use it as an escape and a defensive measure, and some people then use it as a gank or offensive. So
I'm guessing they're just kind of tweaking it a little bit. The fact that he can see through the fog when he's flying during the ultimate, yeah, I can understand that because it phases out. It doesn't look like he's in the current phase at the minute, so you can kind of see. All right, yeah, I can give you that one because to be honest, you can't fly very far before you come down anyway. Mm-hmm. You get a bit of speed, but it's nothing major.
I'm glad they made that change with him. And let's jump on to the next guy because I'm so excited about the next two guys.
But Ymir.
Yeah.
Ymir had minor effects improvements. Glacier Strike, the amount of time between firing this ability and the damage occurring has been reduced from 7.79 seconds to half a second, which is better, especially if you're playing with him because it's just like down.
Cooldown reduction. It's like playing Hebo. Shing, shing, shing.
Shing, shing.
You get your water cannon and your water spout, man. New meta, baby.
The Ice of the Shard, the Ice Shard as well, Shards of Ice, the ultimate ability. This ability has been changed so that you can detonate it early to reduce, but for reduced damage.
Yep.
The base damage has been reduced ever so slightly, and so has the power contribution. So it's not as strong as it was, even like at full charge, but it's great. To be honest, this is a good little move because a lot of times you're using it either for a slow or you're using it and they just get out. Oh, yeah. There's a few times that you want it just to do a smidge little bit of damage and it's just like, oh, come on, that's just wasted.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I mean, I completely agree because if you were to go ahead and start your ultimate, most of the time people see it right away, run out, and they're clear, and then the ultimate goes off, and it's a waste. In huge team fights, you have the ability to sometimes when it's just so crazy, you can get a decent amount of damage. But a majority of the time, you're not doing a lot of damage with the end of Ymir's ult. So I'm kind of happy to see this because, yes, it slows the opponent right off the back, which is nice. And then being able to do damage, even half damage, can mean a world of difference. So I'm really happy with this change. I like the Shard of Ice changes to Ymir.
Yeah, I like that. That's about, I don't mind that one at all. John Kui. Expose Evil, the percentage of the remaining damage done from removing cards early has been reduced from 50% to 40%, so a slight nerf there. Exorcism as well, the base healing of this ability has been reduced from 30 to 90 to 25 to 85, so a flat 5 across the board there. So
it's not enough. It's not enough. This is such crap. 5? Come on, Hi-Rez. 5? I mean, seriously. He's so strong. Ugh.
I love his ultimate. It's like fire and forget.
Exactly. That's so stupid. Come on now. He's a support.
You can't even fight him in it
because it just heal. He's a support, and he is rocking people as a support. And we just talked about all the items you could get to freaking melt people with. It's like, really? Do you want to give him any more sustain? Oh, we'll nerf him by 5.
But it's one of the ones where he throws out that ultimate, runs around, chases you doing damage. And he doesn't even he just needs to follow you. He doesn't need to do anything else. It's just like, I'm just going to follow you and do that. And the weird thing as well, his ultimate, depending on how many people wins, depends how many spirits get ejected. So he hits everybody in it instead of just like it going to one person each time and kind of like picking it. It hits everybody.
It's
a lot.
I
You
swear
always see him
Hi-Rez like watches these and is like, huh, how can we make Octane Pro rage? Ah!
at
Let's leave John Quee almost the same way he is.
he's strong. No, I'll just say strong. No, he
Pretty
is.
strong. Come
Yeah,
on
he
now.
is strong. You can't, he's pretty tanky as well, and he does so much damage. He's like the new Bakasura. Not Bakasura, Barkus.
I hate you. I hate you. All right, so moving on from there, guys, that goes ahead and concludes our patch notes from this week. We have a few last sections of the show to go through. If you guys are just joining us for the first time, this is the Smite update. We do the patch notes about a week later and review the previous patch notes, go over them, discuss them, talk about them, and then we go ahead and follow up with an esports update section. We also talk about some things coming up in Smite this week, along with a community Smite content section as well. So let's go ahead and jump into the esports update. And did you have an opportunity to watch Siege at all?
I could not find a link to it ever. I could always find the charity
Twitch.tv
link.
slash Smite game.
Oh, I didn't see it. What time is it on though?
Probably times it didn't work for you because it was East Coast and it was kind of goofy.
Yeah, because I was trying to find information from when the game was on. I couldn't find it. I tried Reddit everywhere. I could find information about charities, but I couldn't. It was like,
well, yeah, they did the
I want to
charity
watch the
stream,
match.
which was really cool. And it started out with like them streaming the charity stream in Siege, like in the Hi-Rez office. So you got to
Yeah.
see like different teams come on and talk and chat and hang out, and the creatures came on and hung out. Same thing with Team Dignitas and Denial. So you got to see some of those guys on screen, which you don't always get the opportunity to on the Smite game on there, and you got to see some people pied on stream, so that was kind of cool, pied in the face. And then they went to the venue, and they had they had like different streaming going on for different times, and then finally towards the end, the very end, they had like the big event, and the whole time they were raising money for like Team Hi-Rez, or you had Smite. You had like Denial, or you had Team Dignitas, and then finally you had like the creatures, and each one of those groups was trying to raise money, and you could donate to either one of those, but they all went to the same place. So pretty good cause in the end. But the cool thing was once they got to the main event, and I found this out with talking with some of the Hi-Rez guys, they actually hired a local like film crew per se to go ahead and do the stream production. And I was blown away. It was actually really, really good. The esports production part of it was good. I was actually a little bit surprised because I didn't hear who they were partnering with. They didn't partner with ESL. They didn't partner with Twitch. So who was really running the stream? And it was just kind of third party guys, and they actually did really good. And I heard they're going to stick with them moving forward. Did you? So you didn't get to see any of the production or anything
No, I
like
didn't
that?
see any of it. No, I wish I've seen it now.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Better than I
Did
expected.
they keep Bart off the observer camera?
I think they did, to be honest. But yeah, it was pretty good. Game one went to Team Dignitas, and was a pretty typical game between Team Dignitas and Denial, back and forth, back and forth. But pretty typical. The second game, though, Denial Esports dominated
Really?
Dignitas. Like it was. They did so good, and it was funny because at the very end they had Hi-Rez Kelly interviewing Lass after the second game. And she said, what happened in game two? What was going on? Lass's response was, we got pooped on. Which they did. Oh my gosh, like plain and simple. Like Denial Esports, did it. Now, game three, it was a best of three. You and I were talking about it last week. Was it going to be a best of three, best of five, best of seven? It was a best of three. Denial Esports had this amazing start. And what they did was they had like their whole team group up and move around the map and looking for ganks. And under I think it was like under the 30-second mark, they had a gank already. And I think it was they were three, and then they got a gank, and so they were up by one, and then their whole team moved as like a pack, like on top of each other, roaming around the map trying to get kills. And I think under the 3-minute mark, not even one minion had been touched yet, because there was just
Really?
so much jungling going on overall. And dude, Denial started out and rocked, and they did so well. And I will have to say right now, people may or may not agree with me. Denial Esports is the best early game team worldwide. Without a doubt, they are like the best. Like I was watching them from here, I was watching them from PAX. They're the best. They are so good early game. They always do very well against Team Dignitas early game, but Team Dignitas late game ended up taking game 3 just because late game Team Dignitas is amazing. You and I have talked about it in the past.
Yeah.
They adapt so well and they come back so well.
They farm so well and keep the pressure on. Like they're constantly,
Yeah.
you got Zap on the towers, you got everyone just
Yep.
farming. They're just very good at that,
Yep.
and they
And,
can
and,
close the
and
leads up.
they pretty much adapt and conquer, and that's exactly what they did in Game 3. And they did win, go ahead and win. But late game, I mean, Tig Dignitas, amazing. Denial Esports early game, really, really good. And I think they can learn stuff from each other. Like, being some of the top few teams in the world, they can learn a lot from each other. If Team Dignitas get their early game down as well as Denial can do it, and vice versa, if Denial can go ahead and get their late game down like Team Dignitas can, it would be awesome. But those were the results from Siege. Make sure you guys do check that out. Good charity that went on there, and amazing games. Was a lot of fun to watch. Production quality was great. Was good to see that as well. I didn't get the chance to go, but I saw on stream a lot of friendly faces there, so it was really cool to see those people showing up. On the North American side, the brackets were actually pretty thin.
There was 6 teams.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh. And
I've got to say this for the EU team, for the EU side, when the four teams went away to Gamescom,
yep,
there was more teams. More
Oh,
people went, we might actually win this and turn up.
Let's
There was
try.
more teams.
Let's try. So first place went to. I was actually surprised. First place here. Exodus Esports. Exodus Esports got first, beating out Cognitive Gaming NA.
These were good games.
And I know they were a newer team that was picked up. I forget who they were before.
I've forgotten. Yeah, I've forgotten now as well. But it was such a good game.
Vicious and Delicious? Yeah,
they were Anisto, yeah.
Yeah, so they got first, which I'm not surprised. They used to be Vicious and Delicious there.
Do you know, watching those games, it was never an outright what actually won them the game. They would pick in a way. Second place was Cognitive, by the way, guys. They were picking away at Cognitive, just gradually through in the game and just gradually getting ahead. It was never like a major victory. It was just like, we're
Little
just going
to
get slightly better engagements all the way through. And it did that. Both games, 2-0, done. It was very good to watch.
Yep, and then finally third place, Last Resort. Now, on the EU side, this is kind of cool to see. Mortality Esports got first. Second place, Payback Gaming. And third, SK Gaming. And it was actually kind of cool to see because Mortality Gaming got picked up some time ago and just 2 weeks back, and they were Imaginary Team, and their first showing in the EU bracket was not very good. They were knocked out, second round, and I think they were knocked out by SK Gaming. But it was actually really cool to see Mortality Esports, which was recently picked up, to actually see them like getting first place. So I actually shot a message over to their team manager and one of their owners about it, which is like, hey, congratulations on your team, like getting first place. It's a huge deal. It's awesome for sponsors. So congratulations, Mortality Esports. And SK Gaming third. I was actually really surprised that they weren't at least second. What are your thoughts there?
SK's losing their touch.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say it. Probably because SK just started up their CSGO team again.
Oh, okay.
Their Counter-Strike team. So
but I mean that does nothing against Smite. Yeah, we got everyone going, oh, we want to play CSGO and play on there as well.
That's
no,
right.
no.
That's
who
right.
was? I don't know who Payback was.
Yeah, I haven't heard of them before. I do apologize.
I haven't checked the team roster on it at all, so I'd have to actually have a good look at that at some point and see how they're going. So yeah.
And then finally, guys, if you guys want to check out all the brackets, please go over to esports.smitegame.com. This is an esports site run by Hi-Rez Studios. Go ahead and check it out. They have all the current standings throughout the weeks, along with the recent brackets. You can view all that stuff. So check it out, esports.smitegame.com. And let's go ahead and jump into this week in Smite.
Well, this is the calendar, guys. We're going to link in, obviously, the upcoming events and casual tournaments. Now, Octane, click on the French Weekly for me and actually go to their website. Just do that for me. Tell me what you see.
I'm doing it on stream.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, I can't.
You might not be able to click on it, but you can kind of like highlight it or something.
Yeah, I can go over top of it. Okay. What about it?
Go on it because it's closed by the FBI.
Oh, the website. Wait, more
Yeah,
details. Oh, does it take me to their website? No. Oh, SmiteWayCup.com.
yeah, that's the
Ha!
one.
This domain associated with this website, Smite has been seized. An order issue. Wow.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. I actually was gonna recast it. I was looking to do it this week, um,
Heyo!
but it wasn't
Heyo!
there.
Well,
They didn't do it on their stream, so I don't know if it's just disappeared. I don't know what's going on with it. I've tried to find it, but as far as I know, it no
uh,
longer exists.
do-do-do,
So yeah,
do-do-do.
I just thought it was fun. I was thinking, surely I've got the wrong site. Nope. So that was fun to see. As usual, guys, everything like denial casuals are obviously the opposite way round of the official tournaments for like the region wise, and they're obviously just an hour before. Sunday
Yeah.
2 hours before, but an hour before on Saturday at 11 a.m. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Other than that, all the same.
Sorry, I had to
Uh,
send, I had to send a message to Hi-Rez Kelly and be like, have you looked at their website recently?
oh, really?
I just sent her a message. I was like, take a look. Take a look. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also have on Wednesday and Friday the Smite Tube Clash of the Gods 3v3. It's the NA one on Wednesday, and they're
Yep.
actually going to be doing a uh, EU one on the Friday. I'm not sure if it's this Friday they're doing it, but I know they've got one coming up. It might be on the 17th, so they might wait a week to do it.
Yeah.
So go to smitetube.com. I think it's smitetube, or is it .tv?
Yeah.
Go check that out and sign up, obviously, if you've got a team.
Yeah, it looks like Clash of the Gods NA, as we talked about there, is on the 9th, which is Wednesday, as normal. And then the EU is on the 11th, which is Friday. So you were correct.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So we're all good then.
Yeah.
So people can actually go and see the EU one crack on.
Yeah, their graphics on their site are getting cooler. Okay, outside of that, let's go ahead and jump into weekly community Smite content. And somebody actually mentioned one in chat. They said, "Are you going to talk about the giant super crash?" Did you hear about that?
What super crash? What?
How Smite like took a dump.
Oh, I heard about it. I wasn't playing at the time, so I didn't know. Everyone was scared because apparently they logged in and it just said it was the agreement or something like that. I saw a picture and that was about as far as I know. I don't know
Yeah,
anything else.
apparently I can't remember. I'm looking for the post by Hi-Rez, but I thought like they had posted about it and said that like their room like massive like their data center like they had a huge power outage at their data center and it's like where's the redundancy? Because
They
like
got to have backup generators.
well
For
they
Christ's
do and
sake.
most data centers have redundant data centers. So if one data center goes down, another data center is up and running. Um, but yeah, I was really surprised about that, and everybody was up and had their panties in a bunch about it and all that fun stuff.
I
But
think it was more people. They were scared that they lost all their gear.
oh, they don't have. Oh yeah, yeah, right. They don't really have gear, but I guess they're gods and stuff
Yeah, and
like
the
that.
stuff.
So some people were mentioning about that, and something else actually that did pop up. I don't even have it on our notes, but popped up within the last hour is on Smite Reddit. We did have Hi-Rez Erez actually make a post that said, "What would it take to have your friends switch to Smite?" And if you guys want to post in chat, I'd love to get your opinion on this. What would it take for your friends to switch to Smite? And
For them to like MOBAs.
I guess he says switch, and I assume he means from MOBAs. Is the big one there. So I'll throw it over to you, Risty. What would it take for your friends to swap?
Well, I'd have to have friends that played games. I am the odd one out in all my friends. It's really weird.
Yeah,
To switch to Smite, well, it's pretty much just doing what it is. It's you can't have everybody in the market, so it's getting all the WoW players, but to get them to switch,
sure.
there's not much. There's no. They're doing fine. There's honestly nothing I could. Well, I am like the most unimaginative player sometimes. Like, dude, what should we do? I don't know. Yeah. But then I'll come back in about an hour or so and go, oh, they should have done this. But no, I think they're all right where it is. I've managed to talk my girlfriend into playing it, so that's all right.
Yeah, that
So I've got my
boy.
refer a friend going, so it's all good.
See, I've seen some people in chat and actually on the Reddit post that talked about like having the ability to have it on Mac, on additional cross-platform. I think this is a great idea. Why limit yourself to your population and community base just off of the platform? Mac has made a huge, impression on the gaming community, or should I say PC community, not really gaming, but PC. I don't know how easy it is for them to rewrite it for Mac compatibility, but that would be nice. Other people talked about servers, and I think it's a big thing there too with servers. You know, people say, "Oh, it's routing with the servers." Dude, their servers are in Atlanta on one of their servers.
Hey, speaking about servers, what they want to do, build an island in the middle of Atlantic so we
That's
can all have
right.
one server.
Well, that's right. And you guys have to remember, their server technology is amazing. Like, it's more advanced and up to date than any other video game I've heard, where they could go ahead and turn up game servers on the fly. So, like, if there's a lot of people on, they could turn up more game servers available to them. Um, and they don't necessarily have to be in the same spot as the same server that's showing your stats or other things like that. And they're in Atlanta. I had actually did an interview with Hi-Rez Todd, and we kind of talked about it a little bit more. And so you guys can check that out if you want to in the notes. I'll give you guys the link. But it's in Atlanta, so people on the West Coast, of course, it's going to be a little bit higher ping. Now, people over in like the EU, I forget where. I think he said it was in Amsterdam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Amsterdam. Yeah,
yeah. So I mean,
he's
they're looking to expand. There was talks about oceanic servers coming up, like there was talks, Australia possibly. But the Australian servers are going to come down to Tencent, and it was interesting because Erez had said, in the conversation he was talking about servers, and he was said it's going to be up to Tencent to determine if they open something in Australia. And I went, well, isn't Tencent really like their focus was like China and the Asian market?
Asia.
When all
Yeah,
of a sudden did it become Hi-Rez is in charge of NA and EU, and the whole rest of the world is Tencent's responsibility?
because 10 cents better than a
Like,
high res at marketing.
and I understand that's fine, but it's like, no, like that's not the way it should work. Like,
The funny thing is, the oceanic people would get a better connection to the Asian server than they do anywhere else.
yeah, yeah,
So they'd be all right. But they do need their own oceanics. It's just more servers in general. The more servers around the world, obviously the better stuff.
sure,
But
sure. And
obviously
I think
cost
that's their
money.
plan is to get better coverage as time goes on. But it came down to a major investor and partner like Tencent to have that happen. And if that's what has to happen in order to get better servers, great, whatever, no big deal. But we'll definitely have to see. All right, moving on from there, before we hang on to that too much. Starter items and alternative openings, and this was a good topic. I'll go ahead and post this one in chat. I think it came out. It was actually earlier today. About 7 hours ago, and it kind of went over some of the opening builds that people go with, along with opening items. Opening builds being like stage 1 boots into your actives into consumables, or stage 2 boots and consumables, or like a starter in stage 1, whatever. And it was talking about how a lot of the starter items, for example, Mark of Vanguard is for tanks, Death Tolls for physical, Vampiric Shroud Mage, Almost Smash Jungler, Watchers give support. And it's kind of saying, hey, it would be nice to have additional starter items. And I think I talked about this. If I didn't talk about it last show, I talked about it during Smite Talk about having more starter items available. What are your thoughts? Do you think we need more, or do you think we are? It's good where we're at.
We always need more. Well, it's very specific kind of thing now. They need more. There's some of the ideas that I kind of like. That some of them, like someone wants
Sure.
like a bracer of replenishment focused one, like early on, so it's just mash regen. But the way
Sure.
it kind of works out that this guy is thinking about uh, starter items to take up the full 1500. So it's a big kind of commitment, but sometimes the rewards pay off. It's kind of to
Sure.
and fro in. I'd like a few more items. You don't want to obviously saturate the starter items, but a lot of items are kind of good. It allows for a lot more diverse builds sometimes, and see how it
Sure.
kind of goes there.
Sure. I mean, I wouldn't mind more starter items. I like the idea. I like the opportunity for diversity with starting out, a little more theory crafting and strategy when it comes down to your builds compared to being so cookie cutter and plain. Like, oh, starting out, I need to go with this starter item, and I need to go ahead and get this consumable. Or this starter item, this level of boots and consumable every single time, 99% of my games. I want to see more starter items, but I don't want us to get to a point where we have too many items, because that's what it was actually intimidating for me. Like when you jump into League or jump into Dota, it's like, oh my gosh, like which direction do I go? There's items everywhere, and they've kind of gone that direction with like having so many more tier 3 items and breaking off the tier 3 levels. So I hope we don't go too far into it because, I want there's so many different mini games. You have your bans and picks as a mini game. You have your item selection as a mini game, and then you actually have the game itself, which is a game, mini game itself. So I just hate for it to get too complex where people feel like they need to study. I don't want to see it where it's like, wow, where it's like, okay, I need to go ahead and study it and
You
figure it
need to
out
research your
and look
stuff,
into
yeah.
it and research it and look at this and look at that just to go ahead and figure out the most optimal build styles and like it's not about that. So hopefully it doesn't get too much into that. Our second one here is Erez Spoils, which it's awesome that Erez can go ahead and give us all these lovely, lovely like spoilers,
To
which are
be honest,
cool.
sometimes I think he does it too much.
Oh, completely agree. Like all of a sudden, it's like every week now. It's like, all right, Erez is gonna spoil. Erez is gonna spoil. Erez is gonna spoil. It's like, dude.
It's almost like no point watching the patch because you already know what's coming.
It's like, hey, it's like you want to know what's coming on. Just wait for him to jump on stream because he's gonna leak it. It's cool. It adds some excitement to it. It's really fun, but I think at one point it needs to be calmed down a little bit. Like, hey, leave some of this stuff to be anticipated. Leak it in different other ways, like Easter eggs or stuff like that. I don't know, but so he said China server coming, which would make sense. We're on October, and when Tencent went ahead and Tencent Hi-Rez talked about the partnership, they talked about the Asian server being released and beta coming out in October. We also have Wukong is a crazy
I'm gonna smurf
warrior.
on a China account.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do
well,
it.
do you see this here? Some Wukong is going to come back, but he's going to be a warrior. Which remember, you have your 5 different groups now, so he's
Bruiser.
almost going to be a bruiser now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense because he looks a bit more buff now, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's no longer like Finn carry. So
New trailers are being worked on. Thank goodness. It's been how long since we've seen new trailers? So happy to see that. The teams requested a meter on Hell, so they're going to work on that. So it's a little different. Hell should be out next week, so most likely your next release is going to be Hell. So people are like, oh, who's going to be the next god? Who's going to be the next god? It's going to be Hell reworked, for what it seems like. We'll be seeing that coming out here soon. Hell kit is not changing much, so kind of sad about that. I don't really like her kit, but we'll see what happens. There's a gold AO. Wukong's
it's like that
out.
we don't need to know.
Yeah, right.
It's just a lot of stuff.
Wukong's after Hell, so pretty much next patch will be Hell. The one after that most likely Wukong.
I think when it comes to like Erez's like leaks, it gives too much information. Hell's coming next week. That is it. That is all because we like to kind of guess. Go, oh, what's he gonna do? Ooh, what's gonna happen?
Right.
And then it's obviously now we're like, well, she's not going to change much. And, I'll just wait till she arrives now. I'm not that fussed. And that's kind of like Phil. So just give us some more suspense. Give little bits here and there, but not too much.
Yeah, let me go ahead and post this link in chat. Also on top of that, we saw Hell's passives changing. They're taking Iraqi's ult and making it go further than what it does already. So this will be rather interesting, especially because she can go through the walls now and everything like that. The Hell ultimate's going to get better, so that's kind of cool. The Manicore will come back one day. So, all right. Naja's going to get a different skin. Are you happy about that?
Yeah. I always like Naja skins. Well, to be honest, I'm not overkill on like Naja anymore. I thought it was great at the start. Now I'm just like, it's just Naja. It's fun.
Okay. The recall ability you purchase is changing to be more towards teleport. Interesting. He says he knows Tencent beta starts this month, but not sure when. Come on now. You're the CEO of the company. You better know.
Exactly.
You better know. It's not like all of a sudden you split your company in half and said, here, Tencent, do what you want with it. You know what I mean? I think there is a Thanatos Halloween skin. So that'll be interesting to see some more holiday skins coming out.
Just think you could do a Headless Horseman Guan Yu one.
Yeah, that's what somebody already... I saw that in the post. Somebody put that in there. Like, Headless Horseman, go, go, go. Ward Ping is getting a sound on-off button option. So after our discussion there, thank goodness. This event was for us to learn how to put on... the Siege tournament. They're saying the event was set up for them to learn how to put on a better tournament, which they did. It was a great tournament. It's a beta event for them. Muzen is after Wukong. So Hell Sun Wukong, and Muzen. Who the hell is that?
I'm
Let's see
just
here.
looking it up. I think it's Greek.
Is
For
it?
some, I'm on like a it's a Greek mythology one. I have no idea because I'm on like a German site now, and I'm on a
I just
German
went to
wiki.
Wikipedia. Here you go. I'll post it in chat, guys. Wikipedia.
Why am I on German? I don't
The
want to be on
muses,
German.
perhaps. Let's see. It's a Greek mythology. Poetry and literature are the goddesses of inspiration of literature, science, and arts. They are considered. Okay, that's what they are. Let's see here. I'm really interested to see. Like, hey, did I go to the
It's
wrong
kind of
one?
funny now. You look, like this is what
Oh,
Hi-Rez
there
have
we
to
go. I
do. They've
found
got
it.
to look at the mythology and go, right, we need to make some abilities out of this. Try and make abilities for yourself right now. I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, right. Muzen looks like a bee, by the way.
A bee.
A bee, yes, like
Okay.
the honey kind of
Honey
bee.
bumblebee. Yeah. A bit weird.
Interesting approach there. And finally, it looks like that's really it for Erez. And the last part of the weekly
Oh,
kind of
Mayan god. Oh, okay, not
yeah,
Greek.
the last part is the weekly community Smite content part is actually a 5 vs 5 tournament is coming out by ESL. So really happy to see some more stuff coming out of ESL. I think they do some great work, and really happy to see them tapping back into the Smite community. It's going to be a 5-on-5 Gladiator Arena style, and dude, there's some teams that are like awesome in Arena. So I'm really eager to see this. There's some teams that just curb stop people that I play with sometimes, and they're just so good. And they're pre-mades 5 vs 5. So I went ahead and linked it in chat. It looks like it is EU, so it will be limited. Only those EU people. Whatever. EU needed some more love. EU needed some more love. It's okay. NA's got all the good stuff, so it's
Yeah,
okay.
we do. We do.
So go ahead and check that out, guys. That is there. And the last part of the show I want to go over, and we had some kind of demand for this in the past, was going ahead and just talking about three gods. You know, just kind of shooting the shit about three gods. Where, you know, do we like them? Do we not like them? Where are they at in the game? Some things we like, don't like about them. Maybe items we like on them. So the three gods this week, we're going to start from the beginning in the A's, are Agni, Anhur, and Anubis. So I'll throw it over to you first. So let's go with Agni. What are your thoughts on Agni currently in the current state of Smite?
Balanced. No, he feels fine to be honest. I don't think there's many tweaks. To me personally, he feels like he's fallen off.
Okay.
He doesn't feel. He's always top damage though.
Yeah.
He always does like so much damage if you get the right player.
Yep.
I generally don't kind of fear Agni anymore. Like, remember when you used to? You used to be like, Agni, crap. Oh my god.
Meteor run!
Yeah, pretty much. Now it's just like, kind of just go with the works with it now. So I think I
Sure.
just kind of get used to him. So other than that, even though we've said about like 3 gods of the week, there is just a lot of gods that we're just going to go, yeah, he's kind of all right. He's balanced. I know it's kind of.
Yeah, I like
where I go with
Agni. I feel like Agni starts out a little bit slow until Agni actually hits level 5 until you get your
He's
Meteor.
he's very
Especially
aggressive mid.
Especially when you're going mid, exactly. And some people don't realize that is, you know, Agni doesn't really shine until level 5. So keep that in mind. And if you go ahead and get to level 5 and your team, now you have to rely on your team, but with Agni, if your team can go ahead and get some good ganks in, and you get a few levels above in middle lane, which would be everybody above them, Agni could dominate and be super, super scary with that Meteor having like 2 or 3 levels above everyone. So I really like Agni, really happy with that god there. What about you? Let's go over to Anhur as our second god.
On her, I used to like really wind me up with the slow from the sands. It doesn't, to be honest. Even though I swear they've nerfed that quite a bit because it used to be like every time that goes down, it was like, oh my god. Also, the fact with the jungle widening as well, you can't block the ways anymore, so you can get around that.
Yep.
The impale still works pretty much the same. He still hurts. With the passive change, I feel was the best thing that happened to him.
Yeah.
To like balance him out because before it was ridiculous because he'd take out like a fifth of your health before you'd even started. It was like, well, not health, damage.
Sure.
So it's like it was an uneven fight straight away. Now it's evened up, so it's kind of worked. That's why we don't really see too much tweaking on him now because he's fit. Before it was like stupid, so they reduced the Desert Fury down a little bit, and then they've changed that passive, and now he's fitting quite nicely.
Yeah, I'm really
So
pleased with Anher. Anher is probably my favorite god in the game right now. And that didn't come on until probably about the last 2 months or so. I love playing him. He's so much fun. Just I
I
love
can't play him.
I love you can't play him. I love
I
comboing
can't.
his abilities. He's a great god, and I think he's rather balanced right now. As you talked about, we saw the passive changes. On top of that, we saw his ultimate some time ago be immune to CC, which completely makes sense. So either way, I'm happy with Anher. Moving on, finally we have Anubis, and I'll throw this over to you first. What are your thoughts on Anubis right now?
Do you know what? I was sitting there the other day thinking, I remember when people wanted Anubis to be able to walk while doing Plague of Locusts. I'm so glad that they didn't do that
That'd be
because the
so
guy,
good.
he puts out so much damage.
Yep.
He still now puts out so much damage. He's one of the ones that I try and gank sometimes, and he
Yeah.
just like, mummified dead. That's
Yep.
just pretty much it. It's like crap.
Yep.
If you don't have beats, even like when I was doing him with Mercury, unless we had two of us, we couldn't take him down. He feels so strong at the minute. It's just he doesn't need to escape because he's just like la 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 la. I'm gonna take you away and blow
Mm-hmm.
you up. Especially with
Yeah.
that death gaze.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with Anubis. I used to play Anubis. Used to be probably my favorite god prior to Anhur, and I love playing Anubis. And I can say I'm pretty good with his wrap, his mummify, and hitting everything really, really well. I actually started to get a lot of the combat blink on Anubis as a getaway ability because I would overcommit. It's so easy with him to overcommit, just with his wrap ability on mummify, and then but. Uh, I hate the fact that he's not played more at a competitive level, but I can see why.
He
Because
was played at the weekend.
yeah,
Somebody, but yeah, he's not major. No.
he's not major, and I can see why. He's a glass cannon, and in team fights, he is going to have a little bit of a slow. But yeah, that's about all to say about Anubis. Before we go ahead and close out this show, guys, if you guys are interested, please go ahead and post. We'll take 2 comments from chat. Show's kind of going a little late here. So if you guys have any 2 questions, please go ahead and post them in chat. And Risty will keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, we will get the gem giveaway here in just a minute, a little bit. Furthermore, please go ahead and check out our show sponsor, Tweaked Audio. Please go ahead and go over to tweakedaudio.com. And you can go ahead and purchase some really amazing noise-canceling, high-performance earbuds. That's what Risty and I are both using. They have a no-tangle cord on them, as you can see. Really, really cool. They are noise-canceling. They have, I think it's 7 different styles, 6 different colors. They're super comfortable, and you have a lifetime warranty on them. And finally, if you guys use the promo code Octane Pro, you get 33% off plus free shipping anywhere in the world. So they start at around $29 US. Use the promo code; they're down to about 16, and then you get free shipping anywhere in the world. They have ones with microphones on them. They have all different styles. So go check it out, tweakedaudio.com, and use the promo code Octane Pro today. All right, Risty, what questions we got?
Well, there was just a kind of a statement there. Someone asked if you could sell actives. No, you can't. Well, you can resell them back if you bought them by mistake, but as soon as you leave the well, that's pretty much dead and gone.
Yep. As soon as you leave the well. If not, you're in trouble.
Yeah. About the don't know. Still waiting for some like questions. Really.
Sure.
What are some of your? Oh, actually, what are some of your pet peeves about the game? Pet peeves in the game. I'll go with you first because I'm trying to think. Have you got any pet peeves? I know you're one with the artwork.
The artwork's one. I mean, I understand why they do it, but it drives me nuts when we see the Conquest map redone like a million different zillion times, and it's like, really? Like, there's so many other things to focus on. If I was to pick on another pet peeve, the UI. The UI is not the out-of-game lobby UI is not new user-friendly whatsoever.
No.
It used to be, and now it's not. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, you always talk about new players, something like that." I'm sorry, but the game's not going to grow unless you have new players and brand new people joining. And right now, it is not new user-friendly. So that's my biggest pet peeve.
I was trying to find the party section the other day. I'm like,
Yep.
Where is it? I couldn't find it. And all of a sudden it was like down at the bottom somewhere. And I was like, why is it there? Why is it not at the top with the rest of the stuff?
Pretty much.
What's going on?
Pretty much.
So my pet peeve, just Erez is doing so much damage again. Ah,
What with
he,
a shackle?
yeah, he's shackle and burn, and I was just like, why is this happening?
Hmm.
That also the fact that his diamond skin, that new like flame thing, looks just really weird.
Oh, it looks so cool.
It looks cool, but then also, is it on me? Is it not? What's going on? Uh,
I
so
can't
I'm not sure.
tell. I can't tell.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give everybody in chat a bit of exclusive. I'm working on a Mercury guide at the minute.
Okay.
You can all have a little bit of look at the document that I'm working on, just
Oh.
because I felt like showing it off. And
Oh, look
look
at
at the
you.
work that I'm doing.
That's right. Look at that
So
dock. Now I'm
yeah,
interested. What's on this dock here?
yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. Wait, look at the people jumping into that. So you can have a little look. That's kind of what.
Dude, that's a lot of info on. That's a lot of info on him. That'll
Yeah,
be
that.
nice. That'll be. You should look at getting this together. You can post it on Tier Monster.
Yeah. Bits like that, probably Smite Tube and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I need to work. I've got like 15 hours of footage to cut up, possibly to get the
Wow.
right stuff. So
That's awesome.
yeah. To be honest, most of the footage is going to come out of one game where it was the most blinding match I have ever had with him.
Yep.
It was just like everything just worked. So
Sure.
yeah. So there's
Sure.
that. No, but other than that, no, we'll look for
All
another
right.
question. So
Well,
there's something for people to look at.
that's fine. Before we go ahead and do the giveaway, guys, like to let Risty go ahead and Risty, why don't you go ahead and promote some of your content and where people can find you when you are not on Smite Update.
Yeah, Dan Rishti US is doing some work. Yeah, I'm actually doing work. So,
That's right.
yeah, everybody can find me at my YouTube. Like all my stuff is YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. I do have a Facebook page, and I also have like a Google Circle thing now as well. Somehow, people started joining it, and I was like, I have this. So everything's /Rishti UK, so you can
Okay.
find me there on all of that. I put out a load of shoutcasts at the weekend. I'm doing more like daily stuff. I haven't put it out the last couple of days, but there'll be more daily stuff. I want to get more into like the big stuff, like guides again. I've tried the podcast of like the competitive stuff and this, that, and the
Yep.
other, but sometimes I can't make the deadline. Well, it's just
Yeah.
sometimes stuff comes up and I'm like and then I've missed it and it doesn't work, or literally like the Smite competitive one. I can't get the production quality up to where I want it to. So I just
Sure.
like disappointed of it every time I was making it. I was just like, no, it's horrible. So I'm kind of giving up with that for the moment at least,
Hmm.
and going back to making guides, which I used to do.
Do it.
So
Do it.
yeah,
Do it, man. Do it.
I need something more than play gameplays on my channel because I finally got like a 1,000 subscribers, which is a great thing to have.
Hmm.
But my view count's dropping, my subscriber count's dropping as
Hmm.
well, and it's just like I need to bring more people in. So that's more
Sure.
things that I'll be doing. So everybody's kind of moving in that way.
Sure.
Uh,
Definitely. Definitely. You guys can also type !Risty in chat, and it'll give you all Risty's information.
hey, I got a command. That's
That's
cool.
right. That's right. You guys can also check me out over at OctaneProGaming.com. That is my community viewer website. Has my stream over there. Has all my YouTube videos recently uploaded over there for not only Octane Pro but also for podcast. So that's all over there. You can also go ahead and check out, guys. By the ! Risty, you can only do it every so often. It was
Yeah,
just
stop
done.
spamming.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you can't spam it. So, anyways, you can check that out over there. My bio's over there. Some information on my shows. This is one of the Smite shows I do, Smite Update. On Tuesday nights, I do Smite Talk, where it actually has hit off really well. I think last week we had almost 150 viewers live, and it is just an ability for you guys to go ahead and call in and talk about Smite. You can call in, talk about different opinions on different topics. We shoot the shit, hang out. And so that's Smite Talk. That's also on YouTube, and also the audio versions are out there on iTunes and Android. And then Wednesday nights, I cast the Smite Tube 3 vs 3 tournament. And now I'm starting on Sunday nights. I partnered with Hi-Rez, and I'm doing a show called the Tournament Wrap Up, which is a weekly wrap up on the latest tournaments. And then I will be streaming on Smite Game from 7 till 10 p.m.
lucky you.
I know on Sundays, so I'm excited about that. This past Sunday, I wasn't able to make it because I was coming back from Florida. So I went ahead and had Katrixia filled in for me to go ahead and fill in that time slot. Yeah, so check it out actually on SmiteTube. I think on Smite Game on their YouTube. I think I'm actually my last video is almost over 5,000 views, which is kind of cool. Let's see where are we at here. Now I gotta find it. Where are you?
I figured out a pet peeve for me that I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Draft pick in ranked. Well,
Draft pick
master.
and ranked.
I don't
Interesting.
like draft picked it for like casual ranked stuff. It adds so much pressure at the beginning.
Yeah.
It just feels weird. I feel they need to kind of have a first come first serve pick, but that's yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird one how they do it. I think that they've probably got the draft pick because they need to do it, but it's just
So I
it feels
just
weird.
noticed this. Hi-Rez just released like 3 hours ago. Tutorial videos.
Really?
They have, let's see, a tutorial video on items and skills, a tutorial video on jungling, classes and roles, strategies and team communication, and game phrases. And they're like 2 minute long videos, tutorial videos.
All right.
They just released them like 3 hours ago.
Oh, okay.
So pretty cool to see there. Well, let's go ahead and do the lovely giveaway. Let me go ahead and bring that up in chat and figure out what our keyword's going to be.
I think you messed up that one.
That's okay. All right, guys, the keyword to go ahead and give away. Here's pretty much the requirements. Guys, you have to be logged into your Twitch account to possibly win. You have to go ahead and be a follower of the stream. Just a requirement. If I'm going to give you free shit, you can go ahead and follow. And finally, you got to go ahead and type in the promo code. And the code is free gems. Free gems is the promo code. So go ahead and post that in chat. Free gems, free gems, free gems is the promo code. Is the code, and it'll put you in the running. And I'll pick one person. Go ahead and roll within the Google Chrome plugin. Pick one of you guys, and I'll send you guys a 400 gem code. Once again, guys, this code is brought to you by Hi-Rez Studios. They are offering these gems for the show tonight, so thank you to them. And no, Risty, you can't have any.
You know what? I was sitting there thinking, do I sneak my name in there or what?
That's right. That's right. Now, keep in mind, guys, you can only activate a code once. Like, I can't go activate codes because I've done it already. You can only activate a free code once. So if you've already done a 400 or an 800, you can't go ahead and do another 400. So keep that in mind moving forward. You know, you are limited. But
okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you've gone ahead and won a free gem code from anyone's stream, and you put it in chat, it will, or you put it into the game. If you go to enter it again, it'll tell you that it's already being used. When in doubt, you can give it to a friend and they can use it.
So you can only have, it's like one per account that you can have.
Yes, one per account. That's correct.
Right.
That's correct.
Weird.
So you could create like a Smurf account and use it on there, whatever you want to use.
Pointless. Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, let's go ahead and do this gem code giveaway. Once again, congratulations to the winner. If you guys didn't win, make sure you do check back. I do giveaways almost on every stream that I do between my different shows and stuff like that. We'll definitely be doing one next week on Monday, or actually Sunday. That's right. We're doing the show next week, guys. Sunday at 5:00 p.m. Eastern is our plan, if everything works out. So once again, check the show live on Sunday next week at 5:00 p.m. Eastern.
It'll be sometime. No, it might not be sunlight for me. Might be, might not. We'll see. No, it'll be too late in the evening for me. I almost get the sun. All
right, let's go ahead and roll the dice. Click. What do you do? There we go. Congratulations to Stoned Erez. You have won, sir. Stoned Erez, you have won. You have 1 minute to post in chat. If you do not, we'll go ahead and move on to somebody else.
You know that Steel Series keyboard I bought? Yep, I still haven't got it. Really? And I don't think I'm going to get it, to be honest. I think they've sold it but didn't have it in stock, and I've tried contacting them.
Who did you buy it through?
Some retailer in Europe somewhere.
Oh Jesus!
Because it's so hard to find it, like the red one. Well, I could get it from America, but I'd pay that bit more. So I was like, I'll see what I can get.
Man,
It's like another £30 more than the black switches.
I
So
can't believe. So did you contact them?
yeah, I've done it, and I've not gonna. Well, I only contacted him yesterday, so
Okay.
I've already opened a ticket on PayPal because it was paid through PayPal, so I should get everything back if
Ah,
anything.
okay. Okay.
But so I'm all right there.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
kind of it's an
definitely.
annoying thing because I was waiting for it to come. I was like, oh come on,
Yeah,
and
right?
then it never turned up.
Yeah, right. All right,
Damn.
guys. Well, myself and Risty are going to head out. Thank you guys very much for joining us this week for episode 27 of the Smite Update. Stay tuned for our information to be up on stream for you guys to go ahead and follow us. And we will go ahead and see you guys next week on Sunday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern for episode 28 of the Smite Update. See you guys then.
Hurrah.